Do you ever feel like unemployment hurts in a way that's almost physical? Like there's an actual ache in your chest that won't go away, even though technically nothing is wrong with your body?
If you're going through this, you're not being dramatic. You're not weak. You're experiencing a scientifically documented psychological phenomenon. In the next minute, I'm sharing 4 psychological reasons why unemployment feels this painful, and why understanding this can actually help you heal. Let's dive in.
Hey, I'm Mindstick, and this is your safe space for mental health during unemployment.
I've talked to hundreds of people dealing with unemployment pain, and research shows that job loss can be as traumatic as the death of a loved one or a major illness. This isn't in your head. Today, we're covering identity loss and existential crisis, social rejection and belonging needs, the neuroscience of financial threat, and grief for your imagined future. Quick reminder, I'm not a therapist. If you're in crisis right now, pause this video and call 988. Link is in the description. If this video helps you understand your pain better, please hit like so others who are suffering can find it too. Here's what unemployment pain really feels like. You wake up and for a split second, everything's normal. Then reality crashes in. Your stomach drops, your chest tightens, and the day hasn't even started yet. Maybe you're experiencing feeling worthless despite your accomplishments, physical anxiety every time someone asks what you do, a deep emptiness that nothing seems to fill. And here's what nobody tells you about why this hurts so much. First, let's talk about identity loss and why it creates an existential crisis. Here's what this means in plain English. In our society, your job isn't just what you do, it's who you are. When someone asks, "What do you do?" they're really asking, "Who are you?" Think of it like losing a limb. You spent years building neural pathways around being Engineer Sarah or Manager Mike. Suddenly, that's amputated. Your brain literally doesn't know who you are anymore. This is crucial because identity isn't just a concept. It's your brain's organizing system for understanding yourself. When it's disrupted, you experience literal existential confusion. Let me give you an example. James was a senior accountant for 12 years. After getting laid off, he went to a party. Someone asked what he does. He froze. His mind went completely blank. He couldn't answer a simple question about himself. He realized he'd been using his job title as shorthand for his entire personality for over a decade. Without it, he didn't know how to describe himself. Who was he if not James the accountant? Once he understood this was identity loss, not personal failure, he started rebuilding his sense of self beyond job titles. It took months, but he got there. Here's what you can do right now. Complete this sentence 3 different ways without mentioning work. I am someone who... Write it down. Start reclaiming identity beyond employment.
Second, unemployment triggers our deepest fear, social rejection and exile from the tribe.
What this really means, humans evolved to survive in groups. Being cast out meant death. Your brain still has those ancient wiring systems, and unemployment activates them. It's like your brain thinks you've been voted off the island. Even though you rationally know you won't starve, your nervous system is screaming that you've been rejected by your tribe and you're in danger.
This matters because studies show that social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. This isn't metaphorical pain. Your brain is processing unemployment as actual injury. Here's how this played out. Maria stopped going to social events because she dreaded the "what do you do?" question. She felt like she was wearing a scarlet letter that said unemployed. Then she learned about the neuroscience of social rejection. She realized her avoidance was a survival response, not a character flaw. Her brain was trying to protect her from perceived exile.
She started attending events again, but now she understood why her body felt like it was in danger. That understanding alone reduced her anxiety by half.
Your action step. Next time you feel that social anxiety,
Tell yourself, this is my ancient brain trying to protect me. I'm not actually being exiled. I'm safe. Say it out loud.
Third, here's something most people miss about unemployment pain. Your brain processes financial threat as a survival emergency.
This is about your amygdala, your brain's threat detection center. When you lose income, it doesn't think temporary setback. It thinks we're going to starve and die. Imagine your brain is a smoke alarm. It can't tell the difference between toast burning and your house on fire. Your amygdala can't tell the difference between savings for 3 months and immediate death threat. You need to understand this because constant threat activation floods your body with cortisol. That's why you feel physically ill. Your body is in survival mode 24/7. Real example, David had 6 months of savings but couldn't sleep. He'd wake up at 3 a.m. with his heart racing, calculating expenses over and over. He thought he was going crazy.
Then he learned about the amygdala's threat response. His insomnia wasn't mental illness. It was his brain keeping him awake to watch for predators because it perceived existential danger. Once he understood, he started doing specific exercises to calm his amygdala. Within 2 weeks, his sleep improved dramatically. The financial situation hadn't changed, his brain's response had.
What to do? When anxiety spikes, place your hand on your chest and say, I am not dying. This is my amygdala. I am safe right now in this moment. Repeat until you feel calmer.
Fourth and final, you're grieving the death of your imagined future, and nobody taught you that's a real form of grief.
Here's the real insight. You weren't just working a job. You had a whole future mapped out. Promotions, retirement plans, maybe buying a house, sending kids to college. All of that disappeared overnight.
You can think of it as mourning a death. But instead of losing a person, you lost a version of your life that you'll never get to live. That's called ambiguous loss, and it's one of the hardest types to process. This is the piece that makes everything else work, because once you recognize you're grieving, you can actually grieve properly. Grief needs acknowledgement, not suppression.
Here's the full picture. Lisa lost her job at 45. She'd planned to work there until retirement. She'd imagined walking her daughter down the aisle as VP Lisa. That person died when she got laid off.
She went through all 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. It took 8 months, but she gave herself permission to mourn that lost future instead of just staying positive. Today, she has a different job with a different future. But she says the turning point was when she stopped fighting her grief and just let herself feel it. The pain didn't disappear, but it became manageable. The action that brings it all together. Write a letter to your lost future. Say goodbye to the life you won't get to live. Cry if you need to. This is how grief heals.
Take a breath. That was a lot of heavy psychology. Let me address what you might be thinking right now.
I know this might feel overwhelming. Understanding why you're in pain doesn't make the pain magically disappear, but it does give you a roadmap.
Now, I know what you might be thinking.
But other people lose jobs and don't fall apart like this. What's wrong with me? Here's the truth. Everyone processes trauma differently based on their history, support system, and brain chemistry. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just experiencing normal psychological responses to abnormal stress.
What if understanding this doesn't actually make me feel better? What I've learned? Knowledge is step 1, not the cure. But you can't heal what you don't understand. This is your foundation for recovery.
It's completely okay if unemployment still feels unbearably painful, even after understanding the psychology. That's normal. That's human. Healing takes time.
Can I share something personal for a second? When I first learned about the psychology of unemployment pain, I actually got angry. I thought, so my brain is broken? Great. One more thing wrong with me. I felt defective. What that experience taught me, my brain wasn't broken. It was working exactly as designed, protecting me from perceived threats using systems that evolved over millions of years. I'm sharing this because I want you to know this pain you're feeling, it's not a sign of weakness.
It's a sign that you're human with a human brain, doing exactly what human brains do.
All right, let's recap the 4 psychological reasons unemployment feels so painful.
Number 1, identity loss creates existential crisis. Action, write I am someone who 3 ways without mentioning work. Number 2, social rejection triggers survival fear. Action, tell yourself this is my ancient brain. I'm not actually being exiled.
Number 3, financial threat activates amygdala 24/7. Action, hand on chest, say, I am safe right now in this moment. Number 4, grieving your lost future. Action, write a goodbye letter to the life you won't live.
If you only do one thing, start with the hand on chest exercise when anxiety spikes. You can do this in literally 30 seconds, anywhere, anytime. One small understanding, one small action. That's all you need to start. Progress, not perfection.
I know understanding the psychology doesn't take the pain away. I know you're exhausted from hurting this much.
But you clicking on a video about the psychology of pain, trying to understand yourself better, that's not wallowing, that's courage. That's the first step toward healing.
This acute psychological pain won't last forever. Your brain will adapt. You'll build new identity structures. The amygdala will calm down. Grief will soften. In 6 months, you'll look back and realize the pain shifted. Not gone, maybe, but different, manageable, survivable.
You're not broken. You're not weak. You're a human being with a human brain, responding exactly as you're designed to respond.
You're not alone in this pain. Over 50,000 of us are on this journey together. Hit like if understanding the psychology helped even a little. Comment below, which of these 4 reasons resonated most with you?
Be patient with your hurting brain. Remember, pain with understanding is easier to bear than pain in darkness. This is Mindstick, reminding you, your pain is real, and you're going to get through this. See you next time.